At Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, fans of IndyCar racing gathered by the thousands for the first publicly accessible event since the coronavirus pandemic closed racetracks across the country. Masks were encouraged, but not mandatory.
Yeah, it's one of the best tracks in the world, so they're taking the precautions. Everyone else is taking precautions. I had no concerns about coming out.
All the staff and drivers and everybody are wearing masks, but I don't think the fans are quite as good about that.
In Florida, one of the states experiencing a surge in new COVID-19 cases, the popular Disney World resort opened its gates to visitors for the first time in months, with a mandatory mask-wearing policy for most areas of the theme parks.
To the data we have right now, there's no downside to wearing a mask.
U.S. Assistant Secretary for Health Admiral Brett Giroir emphasized masks could prevent further spread of the virus, especially in areas where COVID-19 is on the rise.
It's really essential to wear masks, and for this to work, we have to have like 90% of people wearing a mask in public in the hotspot areas. If we don't have that, we will not get control of the virus.
After weeks of resisting, President Donald Trump wore a mask publicly for the first time while visiting service members and healthcare workers at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in suburban Washington, D.C.
I think when you're in a hospital, especially in that particular setting where you're talking to a lot of soldiers and people that in some cases just got off the operating tables, I think it's a great thing to wear a mask. I've never been against masks, but I do believe they have a time and a place.
In an online question and answer session from 10 Downing Street in London, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson hinted at tougher restrictions throughout Britain as new legislation in Scotland made masks mandatory in shops.
But face coverings, yes, we increasingly think that we've got to be very insistent on, in places, in confined places, where you're meeting people that you don't normally come into contact with, transport, shops, wear a face covering.
Medical experts say wearing a mask isn't the only important measure that could stop the spread of infection.
You really got to stop the bars. You've got to decrease restaurant capacity. You've got to physically distance. We have to have people wearing a mask in public. It's absolutely essential, and you've got to use good hand hygiene.
Measures Admiral Giroir and other health officials across the United States hope will curb infections in the country that set records for the most new COVID-19 cases in a single day, several times over the last week. Kane Fairbaugh, VOA News.
You're required to wear a face mask in the city of West Hollywood. Thank you, sir.